Nigeria may carve out more than 800 billion naira to organize 2025 general elections.
The illegalities have a lot of consequences on our infrastructure. We do not desire that heavy trucks and vehicles will be parking on our roads and bridges.
Take ownership of public infrastructure in your localities. WACS Minister Umahi urges citizens to check rate of vandalism. Good evening and welcome to NTA Network News. I am Jummai Yusuf. Tonight we're joined by Adeola Kame in Lagos, and Benny Adams is here in our Abuja studio, standing by for business news. Benny, what's rolling in the business world?
Well, it's cherry news. More pension funds into Nigeria's capital market for increased investment, just as ease of doing business gets center stage in Nigeria's Ports Authority and environs.
Well, we'll get the details when we get to you later in the course of the bulletin. Francisca Bella will be bringing us some of the latest in the world of sports. Francisca, there's so much happening in the Premier League and the Nigerian League too.
Of course, there's so much happening, and also in the world of tennis, where Nigeria has been drawn with Morocco in Group 2 of the Davis Cup. We'll bring you details during the course of the news.
Yeah, we'll get the details later. Now, this live newscast is streaming in real time on all of our channels on the various social media platforms displayed on your screen. We'll begin with a commendation, as President Bola Tinubu has commended the Bank of Industry for achieving 636 billion naira in loan disbursement to businesses in 2025, the highest annual financing volume in the institution's history. In a statement through his special advisor information and strategy, Bayo Ononiga, the president described the milestone as concrete evidence that ongoing microeconomic reforms are strengthening development of finance institutions. The 636 billion was disbursed to more than 7,000 enterprises nationwide, and the president also welcomed BOI's designation as Nigeria's first national implementing entity to the United Nations Adaptation Fund. Now, Vice President Kashim Shettima has arrived at Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, to represent President Bola Tinubu at the 2026 African Union Summit. The Vice President was received at the Bole International Airport by the Ethiopian Minister of Innovation and Technology, Dr. Belete Mora, alongside the Ethiopian State Minister of Foreign Affairs, Bahanu Sange, Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tuga, among other officials. The summit themed assuring sustainable water availability and safe sanitation systems to achieve the goals of Agenda 2026 will focus on advancing continental commitments towards sustainable water management, improved sanitation systems, and the broader development aspirations encapsulated in the AU's Agenda 2063 framework.
An African Central Bank. Not only that, in today's plenary, Nigeria was confirmed a seat on the board of the African Central Bank. This is huge. It is something that was initially resisted by some countries, so now we have a permanent seat on the African Central Bank board. It's a major success. Nigeria and the West African region also fielded candidates for the Peace and Security Council, which is the highest, most prestigious organ of the African Union. And we're happy to say that Côte d'Ivoire, Sierra Leone, and Republic of Benin, our neighbor, have been re-elected, Benin is going in, fresh election, and the other two have been re-elected to the Peace and Security.
The Vice President will join other African leaders at the 39th Ordinary Session of the Assembly of AU Heads of State and Government, as well as the 30th General Assembly scheduled to hold on February 14 and 15, 2026, respectively. On the margins of the summit, Senator Shettima will participate in high-level side events and hold bilateral engagements with political and business leaders aimed at strengthening Nigeria's diplomatic, economic, and strategic partnerships across the continent. And talking electoral matters back home, the 2027 general election may cost Nigeria more than 800 billion naira. Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Joash Amipton, gave this outlook while engaging with the joint Senate and House committees on electoral matters. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali brings highlights of the budget defense session at the Senate.
The total proposal from INEC for the conduct of the 2027 general election is 873 billion naira, covering operations, administrative costs, technology, capital, and miscellaneous.
It was decided years back that the appropriation for the general election should be made 360 days before the date fixed for the election.
He has made a proposal. By the time we look into it and we pass the law, we will put in anything and also at what will be adequate for you to conduct the election.
We'll be with you in this advocacy, good electionary process. So,
while the Joint Electoral Committee was counting the cost of democracy in Nigeria, members of the Senate Committee on Finance kept the Accountant General of the Federation on edge with regards to payments liabilities for contracts already executed.
Nigerians are all out there waiting to hear what is the situation about their liabilities.
We have identified where we can correct and do better this year.
Payments deficits against the federal government in the housing sector also dominated the budget defense session between Minister of Housing and the Senate Oversight Committee.
We are soliciting for this committee to intervene and approve the ministry to return a certain percentage of the IGR generated.
We'll upscale it with the President of the Senate and possibly even Mr. President.
A joint budget defense sitting of tertiary education committees with Vice Chancellors and Executive Secretary of the National Universities Commission dwelt on impediments like funding and infrastructure gaps, as well as security challenge.
Nigeria cannot succeed, cannot achieve a sustainable development without having education being funded.
There is no reason why a university should seek approval from anybody.
The Senate Sports Committee also engaged agencies in the Sports Ministry on their vision for Nigeria in 2026.
We have begun to put people in their rightful places.
From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Still talking budget defense, the House of Representatives Committee on Science and Engineering has strengthened zero budgetary allocation for the National Center for Technology Management in the 2026 budget, as well as recommend the sack of its Director General, Olushola Odusanya, over failure to appear for budget defense on Thursday. National Assembly correspondent Mitere Ipen tells us more.
Stepped down will not be considered.
Lawmakers stepped down consideration of the budget of the National Center for Technology Management over absenteeism, with a warning that Parliament will take further action over persistent disregard for budget defense invitations.
For him to disrespect this committee, which is not the first time, he has been doing that year in, year out. The committee should make a recommendation to the President that Dr. Ishola Adosanya is not qualified.
While reviewing the 2026 budget proposal of the Nigerian Council of Food Science and Technology, the lawmakers criticized the agency's low internally generated revenue and questioned an unusual increase in its overhead projection from 95 million naira in 2025 to 195 million naira for 2026.
I did not submit any budget, any new budget to budget office.
No, you are actually saying you have not knowledge of what is written here. And it is a big implication.
At another budget defense session, the House Committee on Infectious Diseases asked the National Agency for the Control of AIDS to furnish Parliament with documents on disbursements of international grants to strengthen Nigeria's public health systems.
No grant should be spent without the approval of National Assembly.
Yes, no matter, that's the thing.
Because that is why we're having these challenges. If the National Assembly is aware
about this thing, how you get this money, how you spend this money, we can challenge these particular clauses. But we say no.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives Public Accounts Committee has recommended the exclusion of 22 agencies and some ministries from 2026 budgetary allocations over alleged failure to respond to audit queries and comply with legislative oversight. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
To other news now, the willingness of all Nigerians to work together across cultural and religious differences remains crucial in shaping a desirable future for the country. Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, stated this at the 18th Leadership Newspapers Annual Conference and Awards Ceremony, where she emerged as the person of the year 2025. State House correspondent Adeni Taiwo completes the report.
Eminent Nigerians make their way into the Bola Tinubu International Conference Center, Abuja, as witnesses to history. Like other editions, the 18th Leadership Newspapers Annual Conference and Awards Ceremony celebrate exemplary contributions to governance, business, social impact, and public service, demonstrated this time by a roll call of distinguished Nigerians led by the First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu. Her recognition as Leadership Newspapers Person of the Year 2025 bears loud testimony to our efforts in transforming compassion into a national framework of hope and measurable change through our pet project, Renewed Hope Initiative.
We are celebrating excellence, but not perfection. Commitment, impact, and consistent service to this nation and humanity.
And there, another honor held aloft for the world to see. Accepting the award, the First Lady thanked the management of Leadership Newspapers not only for the honor, but for its continued commitment to journalism that informs, inspires, and strengthens democracy in the country.
I do not take this honor alone. I stand on the shoulders of a lot of people who have mentored and continue to mentor me. This award is for all those who have helped me along the way. It is also for the many Nigerians, especially women, young people, and community leaders who work quietly every day to uplift others and ignite hope in our nation.
She says nation building will always be at the center of our service, describing our award as another call to action.
The future of our nation depends on our willingness to work together across cultural and religious differences and interests for the good of all. For a house divided against itself cannot stand. Let us keep working together to realize the Nigeria of our dreams. I dedicate this award to every citizen who believes that selfless service and humaneness can truly change lives.
The theme of the award, political stability and sustainable development in Africa in an increasingly unstable global system, a roadmap for Nigeria, drew deep thoughts from speakers.
Press is also central to that same contract. When journalism holds power to account, citizens can see what is happening, demand better, and hold their leaders to the standards that they were promised. Nigeria has one of the most vibrant independent media landscapes on the continent, and that is an asset that needs to be protected in this age of misinformation.
A roadmap to make Africa great again cannot proceed without Nigeria, or it will end up in a cul-de-sac.
27 eminent Nigerians and corporate organizations were recognized at the award ceremony instituted 18 years ago by the founder of Leadership Newspapers, late Sam Inda Isaiah. From Bola Tinubu International Conference Center, Abuja, Adeni Taiwo, NTA News.
And in Gombe, the Nigeria Governor's Spouses Forum has stepped up efforts to end gender-based violence with a high-level advocacy in Gombe State aimed at strengthening the protection of women and children and promoting community action against abuse. Nafisa Umar Garba reports.
The advocacy is aimed at ending gender-based violence with a focus on shifting social norms and strengthening state commitment to protecting women and girls. The Nigeria Governor Sponsors Forum reaffirms its resolve to deepen partnership and promote community action against gender-based violence.
But because of that depression, we try to sensitize and advocate that there is need for them to come out and voice it, to encourage others that they have been deprived. That's why we engage the traditional rulers.
Presentations at the forum examined cultural and religious perspectives, as well as the critical role of communities in prevention. Participants also underscored the importance of the Sexual Assault Referral Center in Gombe State, while calling for stronger prevention measures.
We have been disseminating information on this gender-based violence, and people are intimated on how to take measures to ensure that total prevention is given. And where it's occurred, necessary measures are taken.
The time is ripe for the advocacy, and it is my hope that those that have come will carry the message along with them to their various places.
Stakeholders were challenged to create awareness against harmful practices, strengthen institutions, and ensure women and children are protected and empowered to speak out. Nafisa Umar Garba, NTA News.
We'll take a break. There will be more news when we return. You're welcome back. And talking health and human infrastructure development, the national coordinator of the sector-wide approach, Dr. Muktaha Umar Sadiq, says the vision of the National Health Fellows Program is to build the next generation of healthcare leaders in Nigeria. Dr. Sadiq, who represents Coordinating Minister of Health at the onboarding of the second cohort of the National Health Fellows in Abuja, says the program selects emerging professionals from all 774 local government areas of the country, cutting across health, information technology, and social sciences disciplines. It is designed to strengthen leadership and capacity building within Nigeria's healthcare system. He outlines the benefits of the National Health Fellows Program, including hands-on training in health system, leadership stakeholder management, problem-solving policy engagement, and digital innovation.
Over 155,000 people applied. You need to just think about what that means. So you really are the top of the top of the top. Your chances of getting into this program was probably more difficult than even getting into Harvard. I say that because you need to look inward and understand that you are carrying the torch for what is the best of what it means to be a Nigerian. And I think that's a very important thing.
Talking infrastructure development, the Jigawa state government has intensified efforts to tackle housing deficits and youth unemployment as Governor Umar Namadi flagged off the construction of new housing units in Dutse, alongside the commissioning of a large-scale artisan skills training program for young people across the state expected to be engaged in the housing construction in the state. Mohammed Musa Askira reports.
Governor Umar Namadi has performed the groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of additional housing units in Dutse, reaffirming the state government's commitments to providing affordable, decent and quality housing for the people of Jigawa State. The housing units currently at various stages of construction are expected upon completion to significantly reduce pressure on housing demand, particularly in major cities and towns across the state. Governor Namadi explained that the initiative is being driven by a revolving fund of over 2 billion designed to strengthen the capacity of the Ministry of Land, Housing, Urban and Regional Development to continuously construct and sell houses to the growing population in the state.
This dual approach will guarantee that benefits reach intended communities, while also safeguarding the sustainability and the growth of affordable housing initiative, thereby contributing meaningfully to the overall development of our dear state.
Shortly before the foundation-laying ceremony, the governor also commissioned an artisan skills training program for 135 youths selected from across the 27 local government areas of the state. The training is taking place at the housing construction site along the Western Bypass in Dutse. The trained artisans are to be directly engaged in the construction of the housing units, an approach that aligns with the governor's development philosophy of ensuring that Jigawa resources circulate within the state economy. The initiative, observers say, not only addresses housing needs but also promotes job creation, skills development and inclusive economic growth across Jigawa state. In Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
Works Minister David Umahi is urging citizens to take ownership of public infrastructure provided in their localities and take urgent steps in safeguarding them. Kenneth Nanim reports that the minister decries the rate of vandalism and defacing of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway and some other road projects across the country while briefing journalists in Abuja.
Road infrastructure development is top in the priority list of the current administration. But allowing these infrastructure to be defaced with the refuse dumps or to be devalued and vandalized is an attitude Works Minister David Umahi is condemning.
The illegalities have a lot of consequences on our infrastructure. Just about 2 weeks back, we caught people, and that's the second time we are catching people removing the cat eyes electrical devices on Top Mainland Bridge. There is a connecting bar, we call it doorway bars. And this bar's no more than 1 meter. And people go there and cut it. Just go and look at the New Jersey, the median concrete barriers. People are destroying it looking for tiny reinforcement. We do not desire that heavy trucks and vehicles will be parking on our roads and bridges.
On the inherited NNPC projects, Minister Umahi explains that they were reviewed in line with current realities at President Tinubu's directive, and 7 billion naira is required for their completion and should be undertaken by the ministry.
I've met with the MD by myself, a perfect gentleman. His name is Jaud Joseph Abon. And I know his 2 younger brothers who are also directors. That's what we have in CSC. But there's no Mikano here. I've met with these 3 owners of the company.
He announced that the federal government is committed to inaugurating the Abuja-Kaduna Zaria-Kano Highway in April this year. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Katsina State has joined other states in embracing clean and green energy in Nigeria as Greenville LNG Nigeria inaugurates its maiden LCNG hub in the state. Governor Dikko Umar Rada performed the inauguration ceremony, describing it as a step towards reducing carbon emissions and creating an enabling environment for prospective investors. Hawal Aliru reports.
Greenville LNG Nigeria is a leading company providing cleaner and domestically powered fuel sources across the country. The company is supporting the presidential CNG initiative aimed at cushioning the effect of fuel subsidy removal by providing citizens with affordable and environmentally friendly alternative. Greenville LNG continues to expand its outlet across the states of the Federation, with Katsina State the latest to benefit. The facility was inaugurated by Governor Dikko Umar Rada.
I wish you success in this endeavor, and I hope that it will be a source of job creation, economic stimulation, and growth.
Executive Director of Greenville LNG Nigeria, alongside other senior officials of the energy company, assured of their commitment to providing Katsina State with reliable, clean, and green energy to drive economic growth and industrial development.
Today mark a new era in Katsina State because you can power your vehicle with CNG. You can power your keke with CNG. You can power your bicycle with CNG. You can power your industry with both LNG and CNG.
This is not only cheaper, it is sustainable, economical, as well as it opens the gate for a sustainable growth for the entire Katsina nearby area. So this is a hub station which is not only designed to cater this station requirement, it can cater more than 20 more small stations nearby. So it is designed to cater the energy needs of entire Katsina, and this is going to save the cost by around more than 50% for all vehicle segments.
The executive director later conducted governor around the facility, which is fully equipped with the required operational and safety infrastructure to ensure efficient and secure service delivery. In Katsina, Awal Halaru, NTA News.
Now let's bring you up to date with other news. As the intellectual arm of the governing All Progressives Congress, the Progressive Institute has signed a memorandum of understanding with a recognized firm to champion dissemination of the renewed hope agenda and engage Nigerians on the enormous benefits. This was at a high-level session with critical stakeholders across key sections of the national economy, where the institute scored various reforms and infrastructure deliveries, including security and citizens' welfare, as top-notch under the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
What we are here to do is to discuss how best we can engage Nigerians to understand the achievement of Renew Hope agenda, and how best also we can further expose our citizens, our brothers and sisters, to benefits that are available. Because every policy of this government has intended beneficiaries and benefits.
The new partnership is also to take advantage of the removal of Nigeria from the list of indebted nations and other global economic breakthroughs to project the government and convince Nigeria why continuity essentially remains the best option for healthy GDP and rapid development nationwide. Now, the Road Transport Employees Association of Nigeria has endorsed President Bola Tinubu's re-election for second term. National President of the association, Musa Mohammed Metakowi, says the association's endorsement is in recognition of the president's achievements towards a more reliable and better Nigeria. Omenka Amarachuku completes the report.
Britain National President Musa Mohammed Metakowi says President Tinubu has shown great commitment, resilience, dedication and focus towards ensuring Nigeria and Nigerians get things better through various programs and initiatives that were executed within his first tenure. An achievement Metakowi emphasized deserves commendation and support of all who mean well for the country.
Chapters, states and zones should start working toward this goal for the re-election of Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the second time.
Metakowi added that the transportation sector alone has received a significant boost with rehabilitation and providing new roads that will make the test of time, and the transformation of the transport sector through the CNG initiative, which has effectively supported the transportation sector with reduction in transportation fares. He assured written support and collaboration towards the success of Mr. President and any initiative that will help in alleviating the suffering of Nigerians. In Abuja, Umenka Rachku, NTA News.
A professor of soil sciences, Joshua Ogunwale, has been inaugurated as the 5th substantive vice-chancellor of the Federal University, Oye Ekiti. Tayo Osho reports that the new vice-chancellor pledged his commitment to the institution's growth by ensuring discipline, academic excellence, and research advancement.
The inauguration ceremony of the 5th substantive Vice-Chancellor, which started with the change of guard, drew dignitaries from the academia, government officials. In an inauguration address, the former Vice-Chancellor of the University of Ibadan, Professor Abel Olayinka, described Professor Ogunwole's emergence as a transparent process and advised him to prioritize inclusive and purposeful leadership.
If you want to go quickly, you should go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. You have to be careful, listen carefully and intensely, but be frugal with your words.
The Vice-Chancellor of the Federal University, Oye-Ekiti, Professor Joshua Ogunwole, assured all present to strengthen research, uphold high academic standards, and promote staff and student welfare. He also called for cooperation among stakeholders to sustain the university's growth.
Ensuring functional, technologically equipped, and sustainable campus infrastructure that support academic and residential excellence.
Goodwill messages from invited guests highlighted Professor Ogunwole's administrative experience, with many optimistic that his tenure is a new era of growth for the institution.
I pray that God give him the necessary wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to take FOIA to the next level.
I have no fear that he's going to be successful here because he doesn't leave God behind and he's always focused.
Established in 2011, the Federal University Oye-Ekiti is one of Nigeria's expanding tertiary institutions committed to producing graduates equipped for national development. In Ado-Ekiti, Tayo Osho, NTA News.
Time to take a breather as we join Adeola Akanmi in our Lagos studio for more on NTA Network News. Hello, Adeola.
Recent case of flooding recorded on a section of a Lagos-Calabar coastal road has been attributed to vandalism and indiscriminate dumping of refuse in the drainage system. The Federal Controller of Works in charge of Lagos, Engineer Olufemi Dare, who dismissed insinuations that the flood was caused by a structural error, confirmed that many of the concrete reinforced manholes covering the flood channels have been removed by vandals. Joel Popola has the report.
Addressing journalists on the incidents, the Federal Controller of Works in charge of Lagos, Engineer Olufemi Dare, says the nefarious activities of vandals have been on the increase, which makes the need to strengthen security on the coastal road imperative. The controller explained that the coastal road was designed with unique features, including underground drainage systems covered with concrete manholes reinforced to withstand pressure. But vandals are now targeting the manholes and the see-through fence, noting that 50 of the iron fence were removed in one night.
This is not just happening in one location or two. Beginning from Eko Atlantic, they've removed all the manholes down to the entire stretch of the road. And so, when that happens and the people come to drop refuse inside of it, there's nowhere water will go.
Engineer Dare also announced that due to the marathon in Lagos, with effect from 12 midnight Friday till 1 p.m. on Saturday, there will be no vehicular movement on the coastal road, since the road will be a major route for the athletes. Meanwhile, work is ongoing on the service lanes at Akongbo Bridge, which is expected to serve as alternative routes to vehicular movement before the construction begins on the collapsed transition slabs on the bridge.
We must do this properly, fix this road, fix the other side, divert traffic to these two other sides, and then we can then walk on the bridge itself. And now, look, you can see what they are doing. They have removed the freight asphalt. We have asphalt here before, but it has completely failed. And so it has been removed. We are removing the topsoil. And so what we follow this is stone base.
Rehabilitation of the 22 kilometers Lagos-Ota-Abeokuta road, which is a combination of rigid and flexible pavement, has also reached an advanced stage and is expected to be completed within 4 months with 3 pedestrian bridges. In Lagos, Joel Popola, NTA News.
Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has called for sustained grassroots sensitization on the positive impact of President Bola Tinubu's policies and reform programs. The governor made the call during the inauguration of local government coordinators of a Renewed Hope initiative in Lagos. Joy Ken Abakboye completes the report.
The atmosphere in Lagos was charged as leaders and supporters of the All Progressives Congress gathered for the swearing-in of 20 local government coordinators tasked with taking the Renewed Hope agenda to the grassroots. Administering the oath of allegiance, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu said the coordinators are to create awareness and stimulate conversations around President Bola Tinubu's administration, highlighting achievements in infrastructural development across the 6 geopolitical zones, debt reduction, and other key initiatives aimed at building a new Nigeria.
This is an activation of sorts. This is our own activation of sorts. It's an activation of what we believe in. Is an activation of our resolute commitment.
Lagos State Coordinator of the Renewed Hope Ambassadors, Tayo Ayinde, said the movement is designed to deepen grassroots engagement and serve as a bridge between government policies and the people.
We are a public engagement and sensitization movement created to help Nigerians to better understand the ongoing national programs and actively participate in initiatives designed to improve social and economic well-being.
The new coordinators pledged to diligently discharge their responsibility across communities in the state.
Those of you who have been selected carefully as the renewed ambassadors for your local governments, please go and represent this man excellently. You did your due diligence. We are not going to disappoint. I say this on behalf of all other colleagues that we assure you, rest assured, we will deliver.
To enhance their outreach efforts, each coordinator will be provided with a vehicle for use within their respective local governments. In Lagos, Joy Ken Abakboya, NTA News.
That's it from Lagos. Next is the business segment of the news with Benny Adams after the break.
Good to know you're here. Now we bring you business. Civil society organizations and the media are advocating for citizens to voluntarily pay taxes while holding government to account for judicious use of resources. This was at the end of 2-day intensive training for civil society and media on the new tax regime, organized by German Konrad Adenauer Stiftung in collaboration with the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLAC, in Abuja.
Now is to do 3 things. 1, to cooperate with the tax authorities. 2, to faithfully and righteously do self-assessment of taxes. And 3, to demand accountability from government through our representatives and the civil society organizations.
It may be very, very difficult at the initial stage, but as time passes by, you see that we simplify it. Like what I mentioned in Kaduna State, we related with women and we discussed some of this. Some of them are not generating their tax ID by themselves.
Now to ease of doing business, the first Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, which is PEBEC in collaboration with the Nigerian Ports Authority, has concluded plans on achieving a reduction in cargo dwell time at the nation's ports. The move brought together the Ports and Customs Efficiency Committee under the Business Environment Enhancement Program Accelerator Framework with a view to streamlining port processes to improve the ease of doing business. The engagement followed a shadowing exercise in which officials observed real-time vessel berthing and cargo clearance operations at the Tinkan Island and Lagos port complexes. Director General of PEBEC, Zara Mustafa, said the initiative was designed to move beyond identifying challenges to implementing practical solutions that have been delayed 4 years, adding that the initiative integrates government regulators and private sector stakeholders to promote transparency and accountability with the goal of reducing cargo dwell time and improving vessel turnaround time. The stakeholders, including the Managing Director of the NPA, Abubakar Nsoho, agreed to work towards achieving a 7-day cargo dwell time across the nation's ports. A quick look at the stocks. Today's trading across Africa tells a story of a dominant bull in Lagos, Nigeria, a steady climb in South Africa, as well as cautious but record-breaking atmosphere in Tunisia. Here is how the session wrapped up. The Nigerian exchange was the star of the continent today, driven by a massive wave of pension fund liquidity and institutional buying. The market is currently riding a liquidity tsunami, if you agree, if you allow me to say that, with the big winners as Seplat Petroleum hitting a gain of 10% to close at 8,107 naira 0 kobo. Retail favorites like Briscoe and Deep Capital also notched 10% gains, while Sigis Agro Allied also joined the perfect club. Now on the downside, we have NACO dropping nearly 10%. For South Africa, it's a good game. For Tunisia, and not that good. But let's see how the stocks roll out tomorrow. That is it, and business at this time. Jumai?
Oh, thank you, Benny. Let's see how it rolls out before the end of the week. Thank you so much for business news. Now, moving on. Despite operational challenges, the federal government has recovered over 100 billion naira through the whistleblowing policy since its inception in 2016. The Minister of State for Finance, Dr. Doris Uzoka Anete, disclosed this at a one-day nationwide sensitization program on the implementation of policy held in Sokoto. Dalhatu Abdullahi reports.
In December 2016, under the Federal Ministry of Finance, the whistleblowing policy is a key component of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, promoting administrative prudence and zero tolerance to corruption in Nigeria. The nationwide sensitization program in Sokoto was virtually declared open by the Minister of State for Finance, who urged state governments to domesticate the policy.
This sensitization program is timely and strategic. It is focused on our revenue-generating agencies and ministries, departments, and agencies, because these institutions are at the heart of public finance and resource mobilization.
That over 100 billion naira has been recovered so far through this whistleblowing program, which of course are funds that are used for developmental projects.
And we are always ready to expose any unit, any ministry, MDS that has had any association of that nature. And that's the stand of Sokoto State Government.
The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Ebetokun, represented, delivered a paper titled "The Role of Security Agencies in Enforcing the Policy and Ensuring the Protection of Whistleblowers."
I urge all stakeholders to work together and let us all build Nigeria where trust is not punished, integrity is celebrated, and justice is the foundation of governance.
Other presentations assessed the whistleblowing policy's journey so far, highlighted its benefits in combating corruption, and outlined mechanisms for protecting whistleblowers. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
We'll take another break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Sports Update is next. Francisca?
Hello, Jumai. Welcome to Sports Update. Now, the newly elected Executive Committee of the Ladies Golf Association of Nigeria has unveiled plans to host a successful 2026 All-Africa Challenge Trophy in Abuja. At a press conference, President Lami Ahmed pledged to build on past achievements and deliver what she described as the best edition yet, calling on stakeholders to support preparations. A major highlight was the unveiling of the tournament logo, with AACT President Cecil Ponce commending Nigeria's readiness. The championship will hold on the 1st to 7th of November 2026 at the IBB International Golf and Country Club, Abuja, with over 40 African countries expected to participate.
I hope that Nigeria is preparing, Madam President, because one of your slogans should be hosting to win.
This is for all of us. We must work together to do what? To win. In all aspects, Nigeria not they carry last. No. We have what it takes, we have the government behind us, we have stakeholders.
That is it on Spot. Is back to you, Jumai.
Thank you so much, Francisca. And that's Network News for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. On behalf of the production crew, I say a big thank you for your time. I'm Juma Yusuf.